Okay.
David, you always sound good.
I always do sound good.
Dave.
Yeah.
Dave.
Hey, Bill.
You always sound good.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check 1 2.
Yeah, well,
I think
check
we're good.
3-3. What do y'all want to talk about?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Twangtown. I am David Tolliver, and over there is
Colt Mirsky.
or Tall Brewski,
A.K.A. Tall Brewski.
a.k.a. Tall Brewski.
Thanks, Make-A-Wish Foundation, for that.
Yeah, Colt and I went and played golf terribly. We were awful. Well, I was decent sometimes. Colt made a couple putts,
I was the worst.
but for the most part, you really sucked. But thank you for being there.
But I knew that going into it.
We had a golfer on our team who played at Lipscomb University, and that dude was on fire. I mean, he hit
Trevor Gold,
Yeah,
graduate
Trevor
of
Gold, my
Lipscomb
boy.
University, came in and spanked it.
I mean, just brutally hard on a ball. I
What?
never heard a ball and a shaft sound like that in my life.
When a ball and a shaft slap each other, just
Yeah, but it slappy together.
Oh, stop.
That's a segue if I've ever heard one.
Stop.
Welcome back to Swingtown.
Stop the carnage, Twangtown.
Our guest today is Billy Montana.
Yes.
Yes,
The
welcome.
illustrious.
William Montana. Yeah. Hey, buddy.
Hey, man.
What's going on?
I don't know. I don't know why I didn't get invited to play that Make-A-Wish tournament.
Man, I don't know if you'd want to.
Yeah.
It's fine. We do the golf. We've done it for the past, I think, 5 years. Started just me and 3 other friends, and we were like, let's do something special for charity. And we choose a different charity every year. This year was Make-A-Wish Foundation. Last year was Best Buddies, the Downs, where it's like Big Brothers, Big Sisters, but for Downs kids.
Good stuff.
Yeah, man. And it's just, I mean, I think we're at $163,000 raised.
That is
so
awesome.
far. But we do the golf during the day, which is basically a carnival. We have food, we have drinks. We're very merry. Very merry.
Like I said, I don't know why I didn't get invited.
Well, next year.
Okay.
Next year.
Put me down.
I'll put you down. You're on. You're in. You're out. You're on.
I mean, I'm not a good golfer,
Nobody is really, except Trevor Gold.
but when you were talking about
You should have seen me.
well,
Yeah. Pryor
I mean-
Baird was on our team too, and he was terrible as well.
Like, I'm going to share something embarrassing here.
Go ahead.
So before we even started playing golf,
Yeah.
remember me and you, we went out to the practice range,
Yeah.
and we were hitting, and you saw how bad I was doing.
Uh-huh.
Well, I was practicing with one of the irons,
Yeah.
and I don't even think I hit the dirt before I hit the ball.
okay.
And all of a sudden, I felt this pain in my arm, and I was like, "Oh, you know, sometimes like especially when you're playing baseball, if you hit the ball, it kind of jars you weird."
Yeah.
So no big deal. It was just like this annoying pain throughout the rest of the day, but it was tolerable, nothing too bad. And then this morning, I wake up and look at this bruise. Like something like tore
Yeah.
or ripped in there.
Yeah.
And it didn't bruise until today. And I was like,
Oh, man.
oh.
Yeah.
No wonder that was sore.
Yeah, that looks like it should be sore.
It looks like a golf ball hit me, but no, something ripped. That's all it is.
Wow. Okay.
Just a muscle tear on a practice swing.
Yeah. First
all.
swing,
That's all.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not a big deal.
we do the golf, and then we have a concert, a little charity concert afterwards. This year it was Halfway to Hazard, my group, Chris Young and Pryor Baird. Last year it was Lee Brice and Chris Young and me, and that was interesting.
I meant to ask you, how come you didn't play Miyagi like
Terribly, like I did last year.
you didn't play it?
No, this year, no, Halfway to Hazard, not David Tolliver.
But you could have had a David Tolliver solo moment.
Could have, but Chad he cries about it.
He doesn't want to sing harmonies on Miyagi.
Miyagi. Anyway, hey Billy.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, those who don't
Man.
know, Billy is a award-winning songwriter and retired. I guess you're still an artist. Would you say? No, you're a retired artist.
No gracias.
No, but dudes, I went on Lee's bus this past weekend.
Oh, no.
Write some songs. And he got me up on stage and had me sing "Bring On the Rain" acoustic in front of his crowd, and it was. I might have to be an artist again because that felt really good.
Yeah, it usually does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you guys at?
I mean, there were his people, so I guess I'd have to get my own crowd.
Or you could just open up for Lee the whole time.
Lee, can I be your show opener?
Yeah.
Was it the Texas thing?
One song. Yes.
Texas?
Yes.
He actually called me.
I know.
Yeah.
I know all about it.
Well, I texted him that morning, and I was trying to get a guitar signed for this charity thing we did. And he's like, what about meeting? You want to meet tomorrow at 10 a.m.? And I'm like, well, man, I'm flying out to Florida. I've got a songwriter festival I have to go play at. And he was like, cool. And then we figured out we got Colt to sign it, and Colt to get it signed.
I did all the work.
He did all the work.
Yep.
But
He
anyway,
always does.
I got the guitar, got all the way Lee's place, got it signed, delivered the goods.
I mean, the
But
best.
David got all the credit.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
But anyway, so I tell Lee all this.
That is
We discussed this.
Not fair. Go ahead.
I pick up my youngest daughter to go
Please
to
continue.
dinner. I pick up my daughter to go to dinner, and Lee calls me. So I'm like, oh, she's like, is that Lee Brice? I'm like, yeah, Lee Brice. So I put it on speakerphone, which is a terrible idea with your 16-year-old daughter in the car.
Oh,
And you're talking to
gosh.
Lee. But Lee's like, hey, man, you know, Dominic's, man, you know, he's sick, and I'm just going to take some people on the bus. Do you want to go out on the bus tomorrow? I was like, bro, going to Florida still.
Still
Going to
flying
Florida. Hasn't changed in 6 hours. Still there. But I'm glad you got to go out with him, and I didn't. That's fine.
Yeah, Billy made money and you did not.
Yeah.
But you made money for other people.
I sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arliss Albritton.
You're a special guy.
Yeah. It's fine. How did the songs go?
Really good. I mean, I felt like it was Ben Simonetti came out with us.
Yeah.
And he works a lot with Zach Brown.
Yeah.
Like a ton.
Nice.
And it was one of those things where kind of a slow go at the front, and then we had to come from behind victory, I think.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we got a couple in the last, you pretty much write from midnight to, let's say, 5:30.
Yeah, on a good day.
Yeah. So we did that and we bounced a couple around in advance of that, but kind of brought them home in that last stretch.
Yeah.
Of the bus, going
Did you get
from
two?
Texas back to Nashville.
Did you get 2 songs?
We did.
Yeah.
That's Lee. Writing with Lee on the road is one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do.
Oh, I think it's a blast.
You do?
Oh gosh,
I don't
yes.
I go to bed at 8:30 now.
Not if you're writing with Lee.
I mean, I do too, but not if you're writing with Lee.
Yeah, I don't
Got
change.
that right, Colt.
I don't change who I am for anybody, Billy.
Well, that's why you don't get invited on the bus very often.
Then or cuts.
I wasn't going to say it.
I just do me. Okay.
And you write for Lee too. Come on,
I
man.
do. That is
write
really
for Lee.
weird.
You know what you were getting into.
Yeah, I did. I mean, at one point, I remember one time we were writing, and we'd been up for like 2 days straight, and we were trying to finish this song, and I finally was like, man, it's 4:30 in the morning. I was like, I'm going to bed, and I said, I'm going to bed. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. So I went in and shut the curtain, and 15 minutes later, curtain flies open.
Yeah.
It's Lee in his underwear. He's like, I think I got it. And I'm like, just take my name off of it. I'm done.
Not interested.
I quit. Just take my name off of
It's
it.
not worth it.
I don't care if it goes #1, makes millions of dollars. I want no part of this.
And that song was hard to love, It's
Stop.
So tell us, I've known you. We've known you for a long time. Give us your backstory. How did you get into this thing that we call the music business? I'm assuming you played.
You know how everybody kind of starts in high school?
Yeah.
I think. You
Yeah.
know? So, well, even before that, my dad, who's 86, he and my stepmom still go out and perform music.
Really?
Yep. So I grew up like in one of those typical music at every holiday families, sitting around the living room at the end of the night, everybody picking mandolins and guitars.
That's my dad's side of the family.
Man, I'm so grateful for that. part of my existence. So anyway, my dad was a performer, and I almost think he lives vicariously through me.
What is your dad's name?
Carl.
Carl.
Yeah. Carl with a C.
Carl.
My great-grandfather's name was Carl with a K.
Carl with a K. They changed that shit up, huh?
I know.
Yeah.
It's really confusing.
Yeah.
It went from Swiss to American real fast.
Exactly. Wow. I've known Colt too long because he knows way too much about me.
He is so smart, too. You know,
he is.
Look at him.
God.
I have my moments.
Yeah. So your dad.
Oh, anyway, so I think seeing my dad perform was inspiration for my older brother and me to pick up instruments and play music. And so we had a rock band in high school and, starting in 9th grade or something like that.
What year was that? 18?
No, 17.
High school, 17?
No. It's around the Declaration of Independence. I'm not sure.
The turn of the
This is
Star Spangled Slappies, right?
Yeah.
exasperating.
Yeah.
So how tall was George Washington? And Abe? Was it a significant height difference?
Wow. Just on him.
Or was he just all
get
top
it.
hat?
I get all of that stuff all the time.
Yeah, from us.
Usually from mostly Colt, more than you. But, I mean, you hit me up with it a little bit. You just did.
I'm just learning. I'm learning.
Yeah.
I never wanted to do it
What
before.
about Lee's birthday text? Billy just celebrated a birthday, and Lee...
His
brought
text
up-
was just when I thought he couldn't get any older. What the heck is
He
that
went straight
about?
for the knees, Tanya Harding style.
And your knees are real feeble.
Oh, yeah, they are now. These are...
We're so mean, but we love it.
If you're gonna be in our friend group, you gotta have some thick skin for sure.
And feeble knees,
Anyway, where were we?
Star Spangled Slappies.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Rock band.
Yes. So, we were playing Doobie Brothers and, Eagles, ton of Eagles music, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Paul McCartney, Wings, a couple of Beatles songs,
Yeah.
stuff like that. And then, we kept kind of the band going. It ended up being just an acoustic trio, 2 guitars and a bass guitar. I played bass and really lush harmony. And it was my brother and the guitar player in that high school band and me. And we played every summer and it was always like really a blast. Had great crowds and all that stuff. But then the band kind of morphed into a 5-piece that got a deal on Warner Brothers Records.
Really?
Yeah, we got some money together and made a really good sounding album.
When was that? What year was that?
83.
So,
83, 84.
and this was Warner
1983.
Just a short 40 years ago.
Clarified. So, it's
40 years is a drop in the bucket, man.
killing me.
We better get this thing over with because I might not have much time left.
So
What you guys are talking, I am on my way out.
Where was
You're the punching bag, baby.
Was this Warner Brothers Nashville? Or
Yeah,
was this,
Warner Nashville.
You had moved to Nashville already.
Nope.
Oh.
We were still in upstate New York where I came from, and Warner Brothers sent 3 A&R reps up to this little club that was actually a renovated house into a bar.
Wow.
It was called Marty's Hideaway.
Huh.
And man, we just packed the place with our usual, local people. Yeah. And these Warner Brothers reps came up and heard something there and kind of gave us a deal immediately.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't hear of that much. They won't travel out of their...
Oh, not anymore.
It's a different world
It's
now.
a different world
man.
now, but you just don't. Even back when we signed our deal, I mean, it was pulling teeth to get them to come to a place in Nashville.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, even to come. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But flying to New York.
Yep.
And coming
Albany,
to watch it, that's
New
awesome.
York.
Albany.
They flew into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Jim Ed there?
Jim Ed was president of the label at the time.
Yeah.
But it was Martha Sharp, Kenny Wehrman, and Paige Levy, who became Paige Rowden.
Yeah.
So they were there for a long time, or at least I know Martha and Paige were. But Jim Ed, yeah. Jim Ed and I knew each other back in 84, 85, and then he circled back around here to Curb for a while.
So weird.
Jim Ed Norman.
So how did that? Did you do anything with Warner Brothers at that point, or was
we did. We ended up recording a bunch of songs, but we never did an album. Our deal was what you called a singles deal, so it was 2 singles with an optional third.
Gotcha.
They weren't obligated to put an album together.
What was the name of that band?
Billy Montana and the Long Shots.
I still have my T-shirt.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Was that from when you had the on and the hair?
Oh yeah,
the bluish,
fire, yeah.
the bluish whitish.
Yeah. For whoever's listening, do yourself a favor, pull up your Googles and Google Billy Montana. And Billy, I swear, looked like Mel Gibson from Lethal Weapon, 1994.
Well,
yeah, you're a good-looking dude.
I mean,
you're just really old.
Wow, he is catching up.
Brutal, honestly.
I got a lot.
Hey, so for all of them, I mean, my favorite one of all of those pokes and jabs at me is Stone. John Stone wins the prize.
Yeah, tell that story.
He says Montana's so old, the key that Ben Franklin used to discover electricity unlocks his apartment. That's good, right?
Wow. What an asshole.
That's good.
It's really good.
I know.
It's very long.
You got to tell the golf course one.
The golf course, which, oh my God. So, unlike you, how you didn't invite me to play a golf tournament.
Yeah.
Stone invited me to play a golf tournament, and so we were playing together. But we were on every green. He'd like call up a song on his phone that was applicable to whoever was putting. Like, I don't know. He'd just find some song that he felt like, this is what I think about you, and he'd play the song while that person was putting. It was very, very low key. So when it came my turn to hit a putt, the song that he called up on his phone was "Grandpa, Tell Me About the Good Old Days."
Roasted.
Dude, I was laying on the ground.
Oh my God.
With tears rolling out of my eyes. I thought that was funny.
Old Johnny Stone.
Man.
Oh, all right. So you get a record deal with Warner Brothers around the 83-ish.
Correct.
And
85 to 88.
Yeah.
We still didn't live in Nashville.
Okay,
like
you're still in upstate.
I didn't think it would be fair to my wife. We already had Randy.
Yeah.
And in 87 we had Charlie. I just didn't think to uproot my family, take my wife away from her family and support group and friends was for such an uncertain and risky business would not have been a good idea. So we maintained our presence in New York, and I would just make trips down to Nashville. Sometimes they came with me.
Yeah.
But but then when we lost the deal, they did release 2 singles and a third single.
Yeah.
One made it to number 40, so I got to hear Bob Kingsley say,
nice.
Billy Montana and the Long Shots.
The
that
top
was cool.
40.
But that was it. And so without having enough commercial success to, make an album and support it, we lost our deal.
Yeah.
And I knew if I wanted to stay in the music business, I would have to relocate at that point. So we moved down here in 89.
Nice. And then did you start writing songs? I mean, you were writing songs before, but
so here's what happened was when being a recording artist, my stock was higher as a songwriter, and being because of just a song having to jump through fewer hoops to get on the radio, recorded and on the radio. So, so I had sat on, in the artist chair while publishers were playing me songs. And so that allowed me to kind of get to know some of the publishers around town because they were pitching me songs because I had the potential to make money as a recording artist. Well, when we lost the deal, I turned the tables and I went to my favorite publishers and played them the songs that I'd been writing, trying to get their interest in me as a writer. And Woody Bomar who had a company at the time called Little Big Town Music, which had nothing to do with the band. It preceded the band Little Big Town. He was partners with some folks, and I think Bob DiPiero was one of them. Yeah. And so Woody was a great song plugger and did a lot of homework, in advance of going into pitch meetings and stuff. And so I respected him. And so I played him my stuff, and he reached out to me while we were still in New York and said, I can't do a pub deal with you like you want, but I have somebody who might be interested, and I think they have the resources to get you what you were looking for. And so it was Mike Whalen, who was at a company called Merit Music at the time. And so I actually had the promise of a deal before I even moved to Nashville. It took a couple of months to bang out a contract and get it signed and everything. And I think that's not what most people, that's an advantage that most people don't have.
It seems like you had everything working in your favor with people come to see you for a record deal, and then you had a deal before you moved to town. Most people move here, and it's 2 or 3 years before they even get a shot at a deal.
To get their foot in the door to have a meeting.
Exactly. Yeah, just to get somebody to take a meeting with you.
Yeah. I'm aware of that, but also in that space, we never had less money.
Yeah.
So, we were limited in how we could play, and it wasn't one of those lucrative record deals. It was, I never had less money than when I had a record deal.
Yeah.
And, our accountant told us one year that we qualified for food stamps. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
And we didn't because I still was working full time and music part time, even though we had a record deal. Like, Warner Brothers didn't shell out enough to make it so we didn't have to work.
Yeah. I think that's a big thing that it's a misconception that once you get a record deal, it's all, champagne and roses from then on. But honestly, you make less money. And you're working twice as hard as you ever have in your life.
Yeah.
For nothing. Because when you have a record deal, you're basically playing for free.
Yeah.
Try to get your record played.
Yes.
And kids, you better save up your money.
And honestly, I was one of those people that thought once we had the record deal, it was going to be smooth sailing. But
same.
Not so much, man.
Not at all. Not at all.
Not so much.
No. I went and sold tires at Sears again,
Yeah, I do know.
Yeah,
I do know, because I was doing everything. Like, I was working on a farm while we had the deal, and the farm in upstate New York, a little 25-acre vegetable farm. But then I know when we moved here, I was still loading trucks. Delivering pizzas, Domino's.
Yeah.
It was just whatever you could do to put food on the table.
Yeah. So Merit Music.
Yeah, Merit Music lasted 2 years, and when they sold, I actually got to write for Woody for a couple of years, which was really cool, because John Scott Sherrill was there, and Steve Zeskin, Bob DiPiero still, Karen Staley. Yeah, it was a pretty happening company. Stephanie Cox kind of got
Stephanie
a start there, and and then that lasted 2 years. And then I signed with Diana Mayer, who ran Brent Mayer's publishing company. And Brent Mayer produced all of the Judds records and wrote a ton of their songs, like Why Not Me, Rockin' with the Rhythm of the Rain, Girls Night Out.
Yeah. Did he do Grandpa? Tell me about the good old days.
He didn't write that one. I think that was Jamie O'Hara, but
did he produce it?
He produced it. Dead
Full circle.
Full circle.
Full circle town.
Full circle.
Yeah. Good time. It's good times. It's just good.
So Diana and Brent got me, as a writer, allowed me to, be creative. Plus, they were part of starting a record label called Magnatone. So in the mid-'90s, I got myself another record deal on an indie label called Magnatone.
Are you kidding me?
I got to make that record that Colt was referencing.
No Yesterday.
The No Yesterday record.
No Yesterday.
And even though that
Mel
record,
Gibson.
Even though it didn't have any really commercial success, it had a lot of critical success. Yeah, a lot of the critics really liked it, which I think we tried to make a genuine record, and I think that came across, but I don't think timing was good as far as, and not to mention, you're an indie label, so it's not like you have a staff, like a radio team that can
indie labels
get the job done,
Right.
The money runs out real quick.
Yeah.
Indie labels then probably is probably not there's no correlation between indie labels today. You can almost make it work with an indie. Of course,
That's correct.
Curb is an indie label technically.
Technically it is.
Yeah.
They don't act like one though.
They do not act like one. Maybe the greatest record company of all time, Curb Records, Curb Word Music Publishing.
Yeah.
Brought to you by, where are we right now?
I don't know.
But yeah. So I got to make the record of my dreams.
Yeah.
Because I loved the band, still friends with all of them. Obviously my brother's one of them, but bands can also be, I don't know, you got to always consider 4 other people.
It's hard.
It's tight quarters, man.
And it can get toxic.
It's a lot of opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's just you, when it came down to me making a Billy Montana record, it was like I got to call the shots.
Yeah.
And it was a lot more fun. It was a lot funner for me.
Funner.
Yeah.
You didn't have to make the long shots or call the long shots though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow. That's terrible. It was absolutely awful.
well.
I feel like you just punched a puppy right there or something.
Yeah. That's a dad joke gone wrong.
Yeah, it really is. So,
I have a dad joke.
go ahead.
Well, my daughter told me this one. So I can't take the credit for this or the blame.
Yeah.
But I love it. Where do they send rainbows who've been bad?
What? Rainbows?
Yeah. Where do they send me? Prism. It's a light sentence,
Oh, it's a two-parter.
but it gives them time to reflect.
Oh, it's a three-parter.
Trifecta.
Oh, that's just a trifecta of pooping. It's so bad.
That is hilarious.
It's so bad.
The 3-part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Timing is everything.
That's terrible. Do you know what kind of pants Mario wears?
Mario pants.
Denim. I don't know.
It's so stupid. It's hilarious.
That was dumb, man.
Oh God! So you're writing songs. You got another record deal with the indie label,
Right. Yeah. And I think that label, I think that record deal or that record that we made while I was on that deal, like exposed me as a songwriter, what kinds of songs I wrote, because it was a pretty good, encapsulation of the stuff that I liked. And so after a few years, I got my first cuts. Actually, the first big cut I got was with Woody at Little Big Town. Was a Tim McGraw cut.
Which song was that?
It was on his first record that no one's ever heard of.
Oh yeah.
That was a Curb record.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a song called "Ain't No Angels." Check it out.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Tim McGraw. Know
Tim
him well.
McGraw.
Know him well.
I know you do.
Yeah.
And then, but then I got a couple Leon Womack cuts that were
That's nice.
really, really. They did a really nice job. Made a great record. One called "Montgomery to Memphis" on the first record, and on the second record, one called "The Preacher Won't Have to Lie."
Such a good song.
Yeah.
It holds up. And then, started writing in the late 90s, early 2000s with a tall Oklahoman named Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton, not Sheldon.
Blake and I were in a round at Douglas Corner. We were playing around for a birthday gathering. There were 3 people in each round, And so after ours was done, I'm looking up at him. He's looking down at me, and he says, "Hey, man, I like your stuff. Maybe we could write sometime."
Oh wow.
I'm thinking, yeah, maybe.
Maybe. Oh God.
Just such a hard sell.
I mean, and he says, "We can pick up my record over at Giant." And I said, "What are you doing on Tuesday?" Anyway.
So you wrote with Blake Shelton for a while?
Yeah, man. We spent 9/11 together.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, he called at like 9 o'clock or so, and he was like, "Man, I don't feel like writing today, but I don't feel like being alone either.
Yeah.
I said, well, I feel the same way. So
That was such a weird day.
he and Don Gatlin and I got together. Actually, Diana took us out. Diana Mayer that I was talking about took us out to lunch, and it was weird because it was a beautiful day and there was no planes in the sky.
Yeah. I was working at Applebee's Hermitage, but I was living in Green Hills. So I woke up that morning and saw, because if you're a server and you work evenings, you really don't get up early. But I was up early that day and I saw it and was like, holy shit, what's just happened?
It was
The
a
world
weird
just
day.
stopped.
You know
Yeah.
what happened? The day before that was
September 10th?
the release of Bring On the Rain.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Yep.
that's right.
Yep.
Holy cow.
Yep. Went to radio from Curb to,
That had
on
to
September
be
10th.
That had to be the weirdest feeling.
It was weird, dude, because, it was Joe Dee Messina was having a lot of success. Tim McGraw put a background vocal on the song. All of the indicators were that it was going to be something. And so you're excited about it. But then the next day, when 9/11 happened, then you stopped caring.
Yeah.
Right.
I did. I mean, it was definitely a reevaluation.
Sure. Yeah. Everybody's focus was in a completely different
Completely
direction.
didn't matter if you were going to have a hit song or not. Nothing mattered except the things that mattered.
Yeah. Well, you jump out of this little bubble in Nashville that we're in, and you realize there's a bigger world.
Amen.
And there's people in it, and a lot of those people just died.
Yeah, that was
And
really
it's something that's
sobering.
felt all around this globe.
Yep.
And I forgot all about that.
So the first time I heard Bring On the Rain on the radio was on Thursday. And all of the radio stations had gone to talk because no one felt like being entertained.
Yeah.
Like I remember Jerry House on 98,
Yeah.
and they were usually goofing off and cutting up, and man, it was just people calling in and how can we help, what can we do, that type of thing. A lot of confusion. So some DJ somewhere had taken Bring On the Rain and interwoven sound bites from Ground Zero and President Bush speaking and news feeds and all of that were interwoven as the song was playing.
Yeah.
And I had just pulled up in our driveway in Antioch under the flag that we were flying, and I heard it come. It came on 98 WSIX, and I bawled like a baby.
Yeah.
It was very overwhelming.
It's
Let's say
It's overwhelming to hear one of your songs on the radio anyway.
Yeah.
But something
In that context?
that pungent.
God.
Oh, good Lord have mercy.
Yeah, man, it was really a moment.
Yeah. Wow. What
I'll never forget.
Well, the song did well. I mean,
It went on to have a life of its own, which I
Yeah.
was glad of, because it wasn't like it was associated with 9/11. It was written 2 years prior, at least,
Yeah.
and so it's not like it wasn't like we were capitalizing on something. That song just had come out the day before, It
Yeah.
was,
It's all coincidental.
it was coincidental.
You didn't jump on that bandwagon of everybody writing those songs about that.
Yeah, no, it was already in.
But you need that to heal. But some of it was like, come on, guys.
Well,
Sure. Yeah.
that's very true about the healing part of it. It was, I think, I'm glad that it was considered, something to be used in that capacity.
Yeah,
I think that's humbling,
it is.
though. But it's also a recognition for me why I got into songwriting in the first place, is because songs would say things to me that I maybe couldn't verbalize myself, or couldn't put my finger on myself, but the songs could. Mm-hmm. They knew what was going on inside there. At least I felt like they did.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be able to do the same thing, and I think Bring On the Rain being the first one for me that ever did anything, on a on a grand scale.
Yeah.
It lets me know, it reminds me why I write songs.
Yeah. It makes people feel. Well,
That's it.
that's why we do what we do. I think that's the love of being able to touch somebody with something that you make up or you make or you work on, it's selfishly, it makes us feel something inside too.
I agree, man.
You've had a few of those. One of my favorite artists of all time is Garth Brooks. He's the reason that I do country music.
I love that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I walked out of my Pizza Hut in Hazard, Kentucky, when I was 16 years old, 17 years old, something like that. And we have a festival back there called the Black Gold Festival. It's coal industry. It was our big industry back there. So we had a festival celebrating coal and, funnel cakes and elephant ears and local crafts and whatnot. But we'd always have a big country artist come in and play. And I walked out of the Pizza Hut and I heard somebody singing this song. And it ended up being The Dance. And I was like, holy shit, that's really cool. And it was Garth Brooks standing in front of, 500 people in downtown Hazard, Kentucky.
Everybody's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But I latched onto this guy and just rode his coattails. Well, metaphorically. Yeah. But I did.
Because Garth didn't wear a coat.
No. Garth, remember the album cover, the shot when he was on the fence? He had cowboy hat, starched Wranglers, button-down shirt, and like high-top Reeboks on or something. White. High-top Reeboks.
Did he really?
That? Yeah.
I don't remember.
It's so odd.
Oh.
But, I watched him just fly up and just become, one of the greatest solo artists of all time. And you wrote probably one of his most iconic songs of all time.
Well,
tell me about that.
Yes, it's Lee Brice,
Yeah.
Kyle Jacobs, our brothers.
Yeah.
It was after one of those, I feel like it was after one of those Wednesday writing meetings that we had. At least I felt like I was coming out of the conference room.
Yeah.
And then when they approached me and said, we got this idea for a song, they were real excited. Yeah. And they said, we got this idea and we think you're the guy to write it with. I said, what are you calling it? And they said, More Than a Memory. And I was like, well, dang, I love that. She's not just a memory. She goes beyond that. And like, yeah, exactly. And so I love those titles of songs that don't, like, the title says it all. So you don't really need to, just it frees you up to come up with images.
Yeah.
Because the title has the answer to everything. And that was one of those titles because I knew what the song was about immediately.
Yeah.
So we went across the street to the writer's building and worked on the song. They had this musical thing. If you know the song, the chorus, just lifts, starts really low and just gets more and more dramatic as it goes on. It was amazing. And I love that. And so we had a verse and a chorus, and then John Osier, who was at Curb at the time, came across, and we played him verse and a chorus. And he was like, boys, I got my hair standing up on my arms, and I got chills. He says, you guys need to finish that today. So we did a little guitar, piano, vocal of it, and Lee sang it. And you can get that on iTunes. Lee's version.
It's on there?
Dude, get it.
Oh, wow.
His vocal will...
Yeah, it's pretty much the demo. I think they just mixed it a tiny bit more, and it's what Garth Brooks heard, what made him want to cut it. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's an amazing version.
How did you get it to Garth? I mean, I know
that was Drew, wasn't it?
Yeah, so,
you might know more about that than I do because you'd been there a couple of years.
Yeah, so Drew had a buddy named Scott Sherrod who was working for, I think it was with Major Bob at the time. And,
he was, yeah.
And Major Bob is the publishing company that Bob Doyle owns, and Bob Doyle is Garth Brooks' manager.
Yeah.
And so Drew sent it over to Scott because we knew he was looking, and, it's just sending a song to Garth is just like a shot in the dark, because, he's getting all the A-list songs, But I remember when that song came in, it was super special. Once you heard it, you were just like, wow, this is a hit. it's very rare to hear a song and upon first listen just know that it's special. Obviously, we didn't know how special it was going to be, but so Drew sent it over to Scott. Scott got it in front of Garth somehow, either through Bob or himself personally. I forget how it went down, and then I remember like, I don't know, a week or two went by, and because back then it was CD, so you had to take the CD, and then the CD had to somehow get to Garth, and I remember Garth had called Drew's office line because when you gave a CD, you had all your contact info on there, and Garth left a voicemail on Drew's office line and was like,
Garth did?
Yeah, he called. That's how Garth operated. So he called Drew, and I don't know, Drew just didn't answer it, probably because it was an out-of-state number. That's how it was. If it wasn't a 615 number, it's like, I ain't answering it. Like I said, it's hard to get a meeting in this town. But Garth was like, hey, Drew, this is Garth Brooks. Man, I heard this song More Than a Memory. I really love it. If it's okay with you guys, I would really love to hold it because I think I would want to cut it.
If it's okay,
like
with
literally,
you.
that's how he put it. And he was just like, so we got back in touch with Garth. And we're like, well, upon further consideration and much deliberation, yes, you can hold the song, Garth.
Oh my Lord!
I don't think it was much longer after that. He ended up going in and cutting it, and I remember him. Did Alan Reynolds produce that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they invited us over to Jack Tracks, and
yes, that was in July.
Yeah.
So we wrote the song end of March.
End of March, yeah.
First week of April, the demo was finished.
Yep.
Which was guitar, piano, vocal, like we were saying.
Yep.
I think he cut it in early June. I think it was on my wife's birthday.
Wow.
No.
Happy birthday, baby.
Wow. Right.
He invited us to the studio mid-July to Jack's Tracks to hear it.
Yep.
What did you think? Because I know how I felt when he pushed play.
Well, it was kind of a surreal experience. I mean, like I grew up and I liked Garth, but I wasn't like a huge fan. Like I wasn't like, oh my God, Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
And he's the first person, and probably still the only person I've ever been starstruck by. Because once you just get in the room with that guy, you're
It's bananas.
he just has this aura and energy about him. And he's also like a very super sweet and kind guy and very compassionate. And if you're ever around him in any kind of setting and just hear him speak, you'll pick up on that. But we actually just saw him the other night at the award show. But and he was just very gracious. He spent time with each person, saying, "Hey, thank you so much for letting me be a part of this song.
Yeah.
It really like he's legit thanking everybody."
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And then we hear it, and he's telling us all about the song, how they didn't cut it to a click track, and blah 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 blah. And we hear it, and it was kind of surreal, and I was just thinking like, wow, it was just such a big song, and you're like, oh, so like, what are they going to do with this song? This is so different, because it was just a magical moment.
He gave the drummer MVP credit because he says he came up with a drum pattern that sounded like a loop, but it wasn't a loop.
That's
it was
right.
real drums,
Yeah.
Which I appreciate listening to that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, he pushed play. I heard his voice come on there because it's just one chord and then Garth.
Yeah.
And my knees got weak. I was sitting down and my knees got weak.
Wow.
Yeah. It was amazing.
Special.
It's the first song, correct me if I'm wrong, to come out and be number one, right?
Yeah, so Garth teamed up with Scott Borchetta at Big Machine, and because Garth has his own record label called Pearl Records, and they had this huge game plan. They were like, we're going in, we're getting radio on board, and it really like only Garth and probably Scott could have pulled this off. It was like the dream team,
Yeah.
like
It
perfect
was.
scenario.
But dial it back a little. Remember, Garth had basically taken a sabbatical.
That's true. Yeah,
He'd been out of the picture for 4 or 5, 6 years. He went kind of semi-retirement
yeah.
to get his daughters up to high school age.
That's right.
Yep.
And then he wanted some song to bring him back into the country music recording and touring
Here it is.
and radio world.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
he picked More Than a Memory to do it with.
Yeah, so they put it out to radio, and literally every reporting station, and probably at least every reporting station. I'm sure a lot of the secondary stations were doing it too, but they were playing the song every hour on the hour.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you could have done what happened, which made the song after 1 week debut at number 1 on the country music radio charts. It would never been done. And then it was just like, holy crap, they did this in 1 week. I mean, usually for reference, for people who don't know, I mean, it can take anywhere from, I think nowadays here's a good reference. The song before that to go number 1 the fastest was Kenny Chesney's Don't Blink, and it took it 12 weeks to go number 1. And that song was a monster.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I mean, we're looking at songs taking 30 to 50 or more weeks to hit number 1.
Yeah.
And for that song to go number 1
in
first week.
The first week. It was incredible.
Unreal.
I was talking to Borchetta about it, at the number 1 party, which was, on Friday. The song comes out on Monday, and on Friday you're having a number 1 party.
No big deal.
Sort of like that. I mean, I think there's a little bit of a lapse. But I said, so did you know? I mean, did you set out to do that? And he said, well, we were dreaming that maybe it could be done. He says, about 3 weeks when things started to line up, he says, we began to think this could really happen. And so then they started making it a point to say, hey man, get on board. Let's welcome Garth back.
And also at that time, everybody was still so enamored with Garth Brooks. He was still the king of country music at that time. So for them to be like, oh yeah, let's do this. Let's be a part of history. They were like, okay, all on board. Let's go.
Yeah. And it's Garth. He was like, let's all get in a group together. Let's all do this in his soft Garth voice. When he's just there talking
but
to
with
you.
those crazy eyes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Dude, I used to write every I don't know, it's Tuesday with Kent Blasey, who wrote a bunch of those big
bunch of them.
Papa Love Mama, he's on that, isn't he?
If Tomorrow Never Comes, Ain't Going Down Till the Sun Comes Up.
That's the one I was
Somewhere Other Than the Night. Just a bunch of Garth. He basically was one of the first writers to write with Garth.
Yeah.
He believed in him. So I would write with Kent every Tuesday, and Kent called me that morning. I was like, hey man, are you coming up today? Yeah, it's Tuesday. He said, would you bring some barbecue? And I'm like, well, that's weird, because we would write a song. Kent would make these weird burritos, which were great. Then we would write another song. So I said, sure. So I picked it up, went up to his house, and I opened the garage door, and Garth is standing there. So I shut the garage door back. And
No, it's not.
Had a moment and opened it back up, and it's Garth. And he's like, hey, Detox. Nice to meet you. I'm like, holy shit.
Did he really call you Detox?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. He signed my guitar, Detox, which is really awesome. But we sat down and played songs, and he was just absolutely the nicest dude in the world. I was there for like 5-6 hours with him. And
He's
you would
the nicest dude in the world.
Never know that he was the biggest selling solo act of all time.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you something. This is, our brother Lee Brice. But Lee, that album that song was on has sold 10 million.
Yeah.
And it's unheard of anymore.
Yeah.
And so it was back in, I think, 2017, 2018. Lee calls me. I'm on the way back from a long weekend in the Smokies. And he says, hey, man, are you in town on Monday? I said, yeah, why? He says, I'm doing a radio thing. They want me to bring a writer. This is Lee talking,
Yeah.
He says they want me to bring a writer friend. And I thought I'd bring you and we could talk about More Than a Memory. And I was like, okay, cool. Totally. And it was CMA week. And so the radio station was in the Bridgestone Arena where the CMA festival was going to be. So on Monday, he's telling me where to go. And everywhere I go, there's a roadblock because it's CMA week.
Yeah.
And
it's all blocked out.
But they have my name. And so they look on their list, and there it is. And so they let me through. Oh. So I got to park in the parking garage at
Fancy.
Bridgestone Arena.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, this is pretty cool. So I go into the arena. You got to go through like a metal detector or whatever. And security, and I was like, well,
Did your hip go off?
I was, oh my gosh.
Oh, I had to throw one in. Got him. I had to throw it in. I'm sorry, Billy.
No, I'm not going to tell the rest of the story.
He's just serious.
Nope. not gonna. So they were like, "Do you want us to take you back there?" And I said, "Well, I'll wait. Maybe." Because Lee stopped texting me. He went dark.
Yeah.
Right at the right time.
That's weird.
And so they said, "Look, they're already back at the radio station. Let me take you back there." And so I said, "Okay." So we go back, and I walk in the door, and there's Garth.
Yeah.
It's just like with you.
Yeah.
It was just like.
Did you close the door?
And Lee's in there. I didn't know. I didn't quite do what you did, and Lee's got this look in his eyes, kind of this mischievous look. Because I'm thinking, why the
very Lee.
He got you.
why the heck wouldn't Lee tell me we were hanging out with Garth Brooks?
Yeah. I know that twinkle in his eye.
He had the twinkle.
Yeah.
And so they had 3. It turns out it wasn't a radio interview. It was Garth Brooks' Facebook Live.
Oh.
Oh.
Wow.
And they had 3 stools up on stage. And Garth says, "Hey, guys, here's pretty much how it's going to go is I'm going to talk for maybe 10 minutes. I'm going to get Lee up to talk for maybe 10. And then, Billy, we're going to get you up to talk about More Than a Memory and how that came about, after that." I'm like, "Okay, Garth." Just like I always do.
Party on Garth.
"Okay, Garth." And so went just the way he says it would, just like everything always does. And so in the middle of my little segment, he was like, it's the 3 of us up there, and he goes, "Hey, Billy, did Lee, does he have a plaque for More Than a Memory? Because, it's 10 million. And I said, "Well, he does, Garth. I've seen it at his house."
Yeah.
And he said, "Did they invite you to, when they presented him with that plaque, so that you could be there and see him receiving it?" And I said, "No." "Did they invite you?" He said, "No." "Don't you think they should have?" And I said, "Yes, I do." He says, "Well, we're not going to make that mistake with you."
Oh, man.
what a
And
guy.
he reached down and handed me a friggin'
The 10
diamond
milli,
award, 10 million
diamond
plaque.
certified.
Wow.
Unbelievable. He says, "You got a wall to hang this on?" I says, "I'm going to build a wall to hang this on."
It's going in the bedroom.
It's going in over the bed. I'm going to hang it from the ceiling.
That's bananas.
Sorry, Donna.
Yeah,
It's Garth and then me.
Exactly.
that's right.
So,
Anyway.
speaking of our brother Lee Brice. Oh, at the golf tournament, Colt and I are playing in a group of 6 people. There's groups on either side of us. We get bunched up with this other group at one point, and all the guys are being really nice to me in the other group. And
What is that about?
I don't know. They're just, it's like they know me. So I'm just fist bumping them, and they're just like, "Hey, man, good to see you." I'm like,
Just treating you like
"Cool."
you're really
Yeah,
famous.
like I'm really famous.
Yeah.
So later on, I figured out that they thought I was Lee.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Of course, you always turn
Again?
it back on yourself. Yeah.
Dude,
Again?
I came off the stage that night. Me
Heck yeah.
playing as Halfway to Hazard with Chad. I walk off the stage. The dude goes, "Go Tigers." I was like, Go Tigers? Okay, go Tigers. He goes, "Yeah, man, go Tigers."
Dude,
Because Lee went to Clemson.
You need to milk this.
I've been standing next to Lee before, and they walk up to me and they go, "Are you Lee Brice?" And I look at Lee and I'm like, "Yep,
I've told you this
sure am."
story. I told you the story about riding in the bed of the pickup truck.
Oh my gosh. You gotta
I
fill
mean,
it out.
he was opening for Luke Bryan, and I was on the bus writing songs. And so there's a runner, and she's got like a F-150 or something. And so after the concert, Lee's like, the runner takes you places, and so the bus stays put at the venue. And so Lee climbs in the bed of the truck, says, "I'm going to ride in the bed of the truck." And so I said, "All right, I'm going to ride with you." And so we're sitting back there, and as we're going through the parking lot, people are starting to recognize that's him, or maybe they thought it was David Tolliver. I don't
Maybe
know.
they did. I don't know.
But they started coming up. I was reading lips, and it looked like they were saying Lee Brice, So anyway, the runner does a good job of finding some escort police officers to get us out of that parking lot a little bit quicker.
Man, when you paused after escort, I didn't know where you're going with that.
That's why
You never know.
nice catch. And so we pull up to the hotel, And we're still in the bed of the pickup truck, and sure enough, a couple comes walking out of those double doors, and the woman's like, she's got a bead on Lee, and she gets right over to the edge of the truck, and she's looking at him, and then she goes, "Oh, for a second there, I thought you were Lee Brice." And then walks away. She says that to Lee Brice.
And he's just like, Jesus, lady.
I was like, that is the funniest thing I have ever seen.
You actually had a number one on Lee.
I did.
Yeah. Hard to Love.
And it wasn't.
And it was not Hard to Love. I remember that song. Colt and I went to the video. You took me to the video at the 12th and Porter. They were playing the song or something like that. I don't remember exactly what it was.
I don't remember it at all. So,
but he kept playing.
This is on you. This is on you, David.
He would start it and stop it over again. So I thought they may have been shooting some kind of, special for it. But yeah, that was Rosemary Beach song. Yeah,
it was.
Was that a Joe Leather's house song?
Was that house on?
Yeah.
What is it? Wiggle?
Water Street.
Water Street.
Water. There's a lot of water in there.
Wiggle Lane.
I think it was Wiggle Lane.
Yeah.
And
they're both W's.
So it was Osier and Ben Glover and me.
Yeah.
A night right, but not a late night right. I mean, it's 8:00 or something. And Ben started like that groove, and I was like, dang, man, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
very
really
pettyish.
Very.
Very.
I mean, Learning to Fly chords.
Yeah.
Different melody.
Completely different melody.
And but I was like, dang, dude, that sounds cool, and we just started spitballing Hard to Love. And I think so we hadn't quite finished it, or maybe we did, but Lee and Kyle were outside at the Table of Truth, which was a picnic table by the pool. And they were working on a song. I wonder if Vicky McGee was there too, or maybe Joe was there too. And anyway, I remember Lee and Kyle going through the living room saying, "Play us what you got," because you can always kind of hear at a distance what other writers are working on when you're on a retreat like that. And we played what we had, and they looked at each other and they're like, "Man, I think we're going to record that song."
Wow.
They were looking for songs for the second album.
Yeah.
Sophomore project,
That's it. Title track, baby.
Yeah, but I had no idea. The only thing Lee said, I'm not all that fond of the bridge. I don't think I'd say what you're saying in the bridge. So the next day, I'm like, I don't care if this bridge takes us all friggin' day to write. I want to get a Lee Brice cut.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how I felt.
That's why you're there.
And so, I had some red wine in a solo cup.
Fancy.
Ben was, we were in the pool. That's what we were doing, because all you had to do was work on a bridge. You know? And I think we got it to where he wanted it. A couple weeks later, they were in the studio. Ran out of time in the studio, but Osier was in the studio.
Yeah,
I think they had 10 minutes left, and Osier was like, "Man, I think you really need to try Hard to Love. I think it's really great."
Of course he pushed for it.
I really think this is going to be a hit for you, lady.
I think it is.
Trust me.
You should focus on this song right now.
Well,
dude, amazing song.
Thank the Lord he did, because that song has lasted. I mean, I saw a chart maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago of like gold, like recurrence.
Oh yeah.
It's still in the top 100, and it's 11 years old.
Yeah.
I think it's still one of his most popular songs on Spotify.
For sure.
I mean, it might be one of the most streamed, if not the most streamed. I'd have to look it up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
Helps the wallet.
it's crazy.
It sure
And awesome.
does. What else you got going on, man? I know you're writing every day.
Yeah.
I see you in here every day. The Curb Word Music Publishing.
David, I love the process.
Billy. Yeah.
So
And you're so good
keep,
at it.
I'm going to keep doing it as long as I am allowed to keep doing it, because I think it's really fun. It's more fun than it used to be.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, you're one of those writers that I've always looked up to. I mean, not to blow smoke up your butt, really, but you are a very prolific, you're a wordsmith, and I aspire to be more like you.
And I think what you're saying is, like, we dig a little deeper to try to find things.
Yes, you do.
you don't hear every day.
And-
I do try to have unique songs, which is a double-edged sword. I mean, I think sometimes they can be so unique, you write yourself out of a hit.
Well, yeah, you and I can get weird in a room sometimes.
Well, our songs can.
Song, yeah,
And you can.
songs. Get weird.
And David
Yeah.
can get really weird
And
real
David
fast.
can get
Yeah.
weird.
I don't know.
Me, I'm pretty straight ahead, normal.
You don't. Well,
Normal.
You don't know you're getting weird because of your age.
Oh, listen, man,
okay.
you ain't gonna
Zinger.
top the hip, you know.
I'm sorry,
the
sir.
metal detector not let you through because of the hip.
You're going to have to check
That's-
your hip.
I cannot wait to hear people. Why were you picking on his age so bad? That's just rude. That's just what we do, guys.
You're so mean, David.
Yeah, I know. Dewey.
You know, you also had another big hit from right after Bring on the Rain. Sara Evans, Suds in the Bucket.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that was fun too.
Yeah.
I bet it was.
What made it fun?
That was a song, you know, being a hit. That was a song that we actually wrote for Leanne Womack.
Really?
Whoa,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Tip sheet said Leanne Womack looking for up-tempo, traditional, fun country song.
Yeah.
So Janai, my co-writer, and I were like, let's write something for that. Let's write a song about. So 95% of my songs start with a title. Like I like to start with a title. I've had songs where we haven't had a title. We've gotten a really cool verse and a really cool chorus up to where the hook has to go, and then the hook lets me down.
Yep.
Like it's like that does not live up to the rest of the song. So I'm a little gun shy
Yeah.
of starting with anything but a title to kind of what direction, like that gives you, you know, the shoreline.
Yeah.
That's a lighthouse for me.
Yeah.
But so I go, you know, this was exactly the opposite of that. This was okay. Well, let's write a song for that project, you know, up-tempo, fun, traditional country song. Let's write a song about a girl leaving home quickly.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get some bouncy music. We got some bouncy music. We had nothing yet except a concept and some music. And right where the hook fell, I said, looking for a way to say a girl's leaving fast.
Yeah.
How about she left the suds in the bucket and the clothes hanging out on the line?
It's brilliant.
Wow.
And Janai was like, where did that come from? And I said, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Dude, it's one of those songs that you can, it's like Hard to Love. You just hear it over and over again. You're like, you never get tired of listening to it.
No, it's just such a fun song.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of a funny story because like girl is leaving her family, but at the same time y'all made it so fun. It's kind of just.
And you know what else? I think if you notice, and because I'm a lyric guy, you know, but we got into the heads of each of the characters of kind of that were in that song. So, you know, it takes place in the backwoods, in the hollers, you know, and the little ponytail girl growed up to be a woman.
Oh, very country.
Very country.
Very.
And Janai was just like, I said, we got to say growed up. And she's like, you can't. And I said, Dylan said node. And don't think twice, you know. He said something about.
I mean, Luke Bryan says Warsh, so.
I mean, Dylan said node to rhyme with road.
Yeah.
And so she was like, "Oh, okay. Well, if Dylan does it, that's cool."
If Dylan does it, then
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Oh, we're in a country genre. We have turned ain't into a word.
It's not.
It's not a word.
It isn't?
No. Wow.
It ain't.
No. Ain't a
ain't?
word.
It is now.
Yeah.
Could have fooled me.
I reckon. But anyway, that was mission accomplished on that song because that was one time where we went in specifically to write a song in a particular direction, and it worked. Of course, when we pitched it to Leanne's people, they passed on it because they didn't think it was right for her.
Wow. Idiots.
Which is another lesson. Do you have like up and coming writers listening to this?
Oh, for sure.
Well, it doesn't mean the song's not good if it gets rejected. It just means the song's not right.
Very true.
So there's a huge difference.
Very true.
And so just because it wasn't right for Leanne's project, 6 months later, Diana Mayer pitched it to Ashley Worley, Paul Worley's daughter, who was listening to songs for him. And she took it to her dad, Paul, and Paul loved it and took it to Sara, and Sara loved it.
Yeah.
And then the label said, we don't want you to record that. We don't think it's right.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
That's good times.
Heartbreaking.
And Sara went to battle for it and said, I think my people would like this. And so they recorded it against the wishes of the label. And the label said, you can record it, but it's not going on the record.
Jeez.
And then she says, well, we want it to go on the record. So they put it on the record. But they buried it. It's the 13th song on a 13-song CD.
Of course.
Wow.
Well, it's not going to be a single.
We'll put it on the record, but we're not going to single it.
Yeah.
At least not until the second single.
Yeah.
After everybody was just like...
Did you ever hear how they came about making it the single?
Did you?
No. This is all. I mean, this happened before I got to Curb.
Oh,
so
we can make
like
some
I've always
songs.
known you were a part of the song, but I was never
I do
part
know.
of the story.
I do know. They
Yeah.
put like, so it's still CDs, still CD era, but they put like response cards or whatever
Yeah.
that they said, pick your favorites. So it'd be a little bit like you're talking about streaming as being sort of a measure of popularity to some degree.
Yep.
They had to get hard physical research, but the song that came back all fives all the time was Suds in the Bucket.
Wow.
So that's something they sent out to radio.
Humanity. I think
okay.
I think it was included in.
It's like real research, not
Yeah.
just radio.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And the label
Yep,
said,
that's my understanding.
we're sorry.
They were probably like, well, we're not feeling it.
Well, we knew it was cool. We just wanted you to work for it. Yeah. Shut up.
So based on that research, they pulled the trigger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
A lot of crow was eaten.
Yeah. So much crow. Edgar
Yes
Allan.
and no. Yes
Crow.
and no. Edgar Allan Crow.
Yeah.
Yes and no, because I don't think sometimes people own up to that stuff.
Of course they did.
No, there's too much
No.
ego involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they just go, after
We
it's
knew it
over,
was
it's just
gonna
like,
work.
we always knew that was that was the hit.
Yeah, for sure.
But now, of course, it's the biggest of her career, which is really awesome.
That's great.
I got to go a couple months ago, got invited to the Ryman where they did, because the album Restless was released 20 years ago this year.
Wow.
And so
Unreal.
she did a concert in sequence with the songs in sequence and paid homage to the songwriters and all that stuff.
So yours was the last one?
Bananas.
That was the last one.
True to the track listing.
Wow.
Wow.
Yep. And so
Best for last, baby.
but it was cool. I got invited backstage and she surprised me with
Nice.
some hardware, some wall hardware.
Did she?
More hardware.
Wall bling for Suds.
Wall. Dude, that's great.
It was
man.
awesome.
Billy, thank you for what you do. You're awesome. We
You're
love you.
awesome.
You're awesome. Quit it. And
You're more awesome.
do we have Billy spin? Do we have Billy spin?
Well, hang on. We still have more songs to talk about.
Oh, we do.
Yes.
Oh,
David always tries to end it so early. You're
I
naughty.
don't know what you're talking about. I'm just talking to Billy.
Well, we still haven't even covered another number one.
Which one is that, Cole?
Well, you have two more hits. One was a top 5 hit.
Thank you for that, Colt Mirsky, because
Jon Pardi,
you
Night
believed
Shift.
in that from the get-go.
Oh,
Yeah.
the night shift.
Colt Mirsky pitched that song
On CD.
on still. Yeah. I mean, that was... But you
Well-
knew as soon as you heard it. I can tell, you're like, this is a good one.
Mm-hmm. I love that song.
And you loved Party from the beginning, too.
Yeah, and that was one of the songs I know I pitched to so many labels for so many artists. And funny enough, this was one of those, I pitched it to Bart Butler, which this was before I'd even met him. And Bart is Party's producer. And I just heard he was looking for songs. And they were like, if you want, pitch some songs for Party, make a CD, drop it off at such and such building. And, and so I just put a CD of like 10 songs, and that one was on there. I don't know, like 3 months, 4 months went by, and, just totally forgot about it. No big deal. And all of a sudden get an email saying from Bart, like, hey man, we're cutting this song like next week. Can I get a lyric? There was no like, hey, can we put
holding
the
it.
song on hold, or hey, we're interested
That's
in the
classic
song.
Bart, though.
Yeah. So
That's kind of funner.
yeah. So I'm like,
that word is again.
I just scrounged up the lyric. I'm pretty sure we didn't have it, and I typed it up myself and got it back to Bart, and then it made the album. but it was like the 5th single.
It was.
So that song, I swear, like several years went by from me pitching it to it actually hitting radio.
It did. It was
And that was
sort of
Pardi's,
agonizing.
And that was his breakout album too. So he had like Head Over Boots and Heartache on the Dance Floor and stuff like that. And sure enough, it was the 5th single, and that one was kind of started off like, oh no, 5th single. That means they're already working on new project or new music for the new project, and they're if it gets any pushback from radio, they're never gonna fight for it. But
if they had nailed that second record, like in the time frame that they wanted to, Night Shift never would have been a single.
Yeah.
But that sucker's 2 million.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a big song.
I mean, it's...
You got a new truck out of it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, but it did peak at like, what, 4 or 3? And
4.
Yeah. But then it was time for the
It dipped
new
its
album.
toe at number 1 on that rolling chart, but it just couldn't stay there.
And you didn't have
enough juice.
Didn't have to buy Randy a boat.
I didn't have to buy Randy a boat.
Oh, yeah. What was the story on that?
Oh, man. True story. I felt guilty on a couple of counts so that's with Topher Brown and Philip LaRue, that song. Topher had a track worked up. Topher and I both had Night Shift as a potential title in our phone. And Philip was just like, if we don't write that, we're crazy.
Yeah.
That's totally meant to be. So we wrote it, and then Topher suggested we hire my son, Randy, who is a great singer, had a deal on Mercury Records in the early 2010s and made a heck of a record with Jay Joyce. Yeah. He said, we should hire Randy to sing the demo. I was like, cool idea. I love that guy's voice. And so we hired Randy, paid him $150 or something, And Randy's a writer too. Mm-hmm. And our songs were back to back on that Jon Pardi record.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's really cool.
It is cool.
Yeah.
But his didn't get picked to be the single.
No.
Mine did.
Take that.
Yeah,
son.
and he hadn't had the success yet that, his first number 1 record that he was a writer on was Beer Never Broke My Heart for Luke Combs. That hadn't happened yet.
Yeah, it did happen now, though.
It has happened, and then many, many more. But at the time, I felt guilty that they took my song because his song was a potential single as well.
What a dad.
And so I was like, as Night Shift is working its way up the charts, I finally, top 10, I'm like, buddy, if this goes to number 1, I'll buy you a boat.
Oh.
And then I say, thank goodness it died at number 4.
Dear God. What? Sorry, Randy. We love you, man.
I'm sure he's got a boat now.
Yeah, Luke Combs for sure bought him a boat. Wow. The other song, what are you talking about?
So
I'm lost.
Billy's actually got 2 number 1s on Lee.
Yep.
Wait for it.
Wait
the wheels
for
are
it.
turning. It's clicking.
Or is that a memory you don't mess with?
I'm sorry.
Bazinga.
I'm sorry. See, I thought
Using a song title to throw one back at David.
I thought that was just Brian Davis. I'm sorry.
Wow. Yeah, so Billy wrote Memory I Don't Mess With. He's a co-writer on it with Lee and Brian Davis.
Bus song.
Bus song. Tell us the story on that.
It was, remember how I said earlier on, like, sometimes the best songs are at the end of the run.
Yep.
For whatever reason.
Yeah.
You're trying too hard at the first, I think.
I think so too.
And then you just don't care. Then you just want to get off the bus.
They had,
Take my name off the song.
they already had that chorus.
Really?
Yep. And they played for me and they were like, would you want to get in on this? I'm like, are you freaking crazy?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, and I say this and I feel like I remember this. I was like, if you let me in on this song, I'm going to bring the heat on these verses.
Did you say bring the heat?
I think I did.
Are you sure?
I think I did.
Okay.
The heat was brought.
Well, and then so it was just sort of like that, the rhyme scheme of that chorus, everything rhymes,
Yeah.
The memory I don't mess with, the girl I was the best with,
Yeah.
I can't do it if I'm not singing it, but you know what I'm saying? Everything rhymes. It's got that same vowel sound. I can't help it. I mean, I loved it. And so they go, so they were over in the corner of the bus, and Lee's got a studio on his bus, and so they were working out some melodic stuff, maybe going like, well, it could be this, and I'm like, this has got to be the friggin' coolest thing. So I said, hey, what about this? Red leaves on the river, footprints in the sand, cold walk in December, warming up your hands. And Lee got another one of those looks in his eyes. It wasn't the twinkly look of it was the
his eyes go dead, and you can just see his wheels turning hard.
Yeah.
And you sort of can see steam coming out of his ears a little bit. And
I can see Brian's face, just that grin he gets.
Oh, yeah.
Eyes get real small.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, oh yeah.
And
Money.
Lee grabbed the gut string guitar that I was holding on to, and he sang it back to me, like,
Wow.
and I was like, we've got something here.
And it's that there's those pictures. I mean, you paint pictures with your words, and that's amazing.
It's one of my favorite things about that song. It does it, Petty does it. Tom Petty does it, and his songs are so what I call the economy of lyric.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to say it. She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus and America too. She's a good girl. She's crazy about Elvis, loves horses and her boyfriend too. You know that girl.
Yeah.
In 22 words. You know that girl.
Yeah.
You've probably been with that girl.
Exactly.
Saucy.
It's the Costas effect. It's Timber, I'm falling in love.
Costas.
Bingo.
Yeah. I can't. That dude's one of my favorite people of all time, and I've talked to him maybe 7 words, and
You wanted Costas to be your dad.
I pretty much did.
Yeah.
Costas would be a great dad. He kills me singing. Dude.
He's amazing.
He's amazing.
Love it.
Where can people find you?
Instagrampy.
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 Instagram. Oh, I absolutely love it.
So
Billy Montana won, but you better, if you want to hit me up, you better hit me up quick because I don't have much time left.
the feeble knees are getting feebler.
My hip, I can feel my hip starting to, that metal, that titanium in there is just starting to
I'm dying.
heat up.
I'm dying.
So before you leave, you got to spin the wheel of shame.
Uh-oh, what is this?
The wheel of shame.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me try it.
Yeah. Bring it over for me. You can't get up.
Yeah.
Do you want your walker? Do you want your walker?
No,
sir?
no.
Gotta be careful of those feeble knees.
Okay, are you ready, guys?
We're ready.
Let's give it a quality
Spin it.
Price is Right style. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, look at that.
You
Looks
see
like
how
a
those words are written on with Sharpie?
It looks like a cyclone going around there.
Where's he at?
Which one is it?
You can't tell.
Pinche pendejo.
What does that even mean? I don't even know what that means.
That's Spanish
Los huevos.
Oh, no wonder I didn't understand
for fucking asshole.
it. That's mine?
So
Well.
that means we all get to take a shot of tequila together.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
I can't move it?
I'll pretend I'm taking a shot of tequila.
If you don't want to do the shot, you can spin it one more time.
What's Old Smoky?
It's another shot.
Moonshine.
You want to give it another spin? So
I mean-
David can participate.
I want David to participate.
Well, give it a
one more
spin.
You can have a bonus spin since you have feeble knees.
Well, no, it's because of David. I don't want to.
That's okay.
I don't want him to not.
I want to watch you guys take a shot.
Let's just pretend that went on America.
America.
What is that?
What's America?
What does that mean?
I don't
John?
know. Colt made all these up.
So this is a game about American trivia.
Well, you should know every bit of it since you were here.
Pick a card, but don't look at it. Hand is me.
Okay.
Is this even fair for him to do this?
Well, he was here for all this, so
That's
it's
what I'm
probably
saying. He founded our country.
not. Okay. After leaving office, what former U.S. president served as a delegate to the Virginia Secession Convention but died before taking office in the Confederate House of Representatives? Is it ringing any bells?
No, but let me take a guess.
I got to guess.
This is a hard one. I would never know this.
Oh.
Is it Monroe? James Monroe?
Is that your final answer?
Well, not with that look. James Madison?
It was John Tyler, the 10th president of the United States, 1841 to 45. And it says, did you know Tyler took office in 1841 upon the death of William Henry Harrison, who had served only 1 month before his death.
Wow.
Is that fair to like the 10th president, like Tyler? Like, who knows that?
I did not know
I think
that.
I need another shot.
Let's go.
Okay, let's go. Go back again. Check it, direct it, let's begin.
Okay, this one better work. That was too hard.
I mean, it technically did
I worked
work.
so hard.
It's a question. You don't have to know the answer.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, this is the last one. I've gotten double everything here.
What were the Sons of Liberty disguised as when they threw 342 chests of tea from British ships into Boston Harbor on December 16th, 1773?
American Indians.
Pretty dang close. The correct answer, or the real answer, is Mohawk Indians. But yeah, you were there.
I mean, that's it.
The American Patriots were protesting the British Stamp Act, which imposed a tax on tea, taxation without representation.
Yep.
Wow.
And then it says, although you know, or did you know, although the Sons of Liberty were largely made up of merchants and tradesmen, many were also well-known patriots, including John Hancock and Paul Revere.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love
This is absolutely
that.
the worst segment of any podcast ever
Did you
created.
know wars for independence
You hate America?
I love America.
can be started over things like the breaking point was just the tax on tea. Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? But
Yeah.
obviously,
No,
tons of other things building up to that. I remember that. I was there.
Okay,
How was the tea back then?
I mean, not worth the tax.
There was the drummer dude with the stuff on his head, and then the one dude doing something else. Now, you played the flute in that threesome that used to march in front of
fife.
Yeah. You know, that.
Wow.
I played the fife.
Yeah, the fife.
The faith.
That was my nickname in high school.
I played five fifes.
David the Fife Tolliver. Billy, thank you so much for being
Thanks
here.
for having me
Dude, you're
on
awesome.
Twangtown.
We love you.
You Twangtowners are two of my favorite people in this Twangtown and in this world.
We're just twangers.
We're just twangers.
Yeah, Billy, thanks for coming on. You the man. For everybody out there, you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram,
Follow
Twitter. We're available on all streaming platforms.
Yes, we are.
Like, subscribe, follow,
Tell
stream.
your friends.
Tell your mama, tell your daddy,
And all them.
and all of them.
Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.
Peace.